July 31st, 2025. This is the S&P 500 E-Futures Mini on a 2000 tick chart using NinjaTrader 8. Here's what the chart looked like today. Yesterday, it kind of carried over the spike, and then in the pre-market, it looked like it was two legs down. On the open, another leg. But overall, it looked like it was one big leg, pullback, sideways consolidation, a second big leg, two legs up, and then kind of like a third or maybe 4 or 5 legs, but it looked like it was 3 big legs down, another rally, and another 2 legs down. Now, I did try to see if a bigger channel could exist and something like this, but it really didn't help out for any setups. There were quite a few setups today, definitely more than usual. This is right after FOMC, which the right decision to decide not to change. And I took 2 trades, and unfortunately, they're both losers. And for the most part, they're both frustrating because I was not disciplined and patient. And as a result, I got punished for it. So those 2 losses are, well, justified. They weren't like high probability setups that I happened to take and it didn't work out. There was like a high probability setup, I think right here, which I'll point out, that I think if I kept trading, I would have probably taken it and lost. But these 2 trades, after the 2 losses, I decided I can't trade anymore, at least live, because I knew I wasn't in tune with the market. And since I wasn't able to trade yesterday, I think there was a carryover of, I guess, a little anxious because I wanted to try to get something to happen. And as a result, that was just not the right way to go. The economic data that came out today was at 5:30 Pacific Standard, which is about right here, is the core PCI and unemployment claims. And it didn't really do too much. And then throughout the whole day, there wasn't any other news item that came out. Now, you can see in the aftermarket, it looks like things are kind of shooting up. I think it's because of Apple earnings, which is coinciding with what's happening right now. But I'm going to go into the trades right now and kind of walk through it or walk through the setups. Pre-market looked like it was moving up on this green channel. Excuse me. As I said, it was moving up on this green up channel. Break, test the high, made another attempt up, and it started moving down on this orange down channel. Break, test the low, kind of a sideways consolidation, and then it broke through this trading range and started pushing down. It hits a new low. So technically you have a new low here. You have a first entry short. It looks like a visual first entry short. Pull back. Technically, you have a second entry short right here, but I saw it more as a visual one leg up, pull back, second leg up, pull back. So I saw this as a visual second entry short. You could say this is the second entry short right here, maybe a lower high right here, but it's hard for me to say it's a lower high when it kind of made the same highs. Look for me, more visually, first entry short, second entry short. Now there's this orange down channel, it's break of the down channel, and I think it needs to test the low. So I think this is the first attempt, pull back, and then in real time, this is right here, the second attempt. And I thought this was a decent setup because it's 2 legs up already. So technically on a visual second entry short, one of these would be the signal bar, and this is the trigger bar, and move 1 tick up, flush down, push below the EMA, and close at the low. And I thought there was actually a trade right there. Would have worked out, but if you put your entry 1 tick below here, and you saw this never tick below it and kind of close at the high, I think I would have canceled the order. And then when this one shows up, if you did hang around, it probably would have filled your order. And then one of these would have given you your 1 or 2 point scalp. Then prices started moving down on this, what I thought was this green down channel. No clean setups here. I mean, technically you have a new high, first entry long, pullback. You technically have a second entry long here. There's a bad signal bar, kind of out in the middle of nowhere. It is bouncing off the pre-market lows, but it's only the first time it bounced, so it's hard to trust that prices are going to rally back up. You could argue that it's bouncing off this green down channel support as well, but you'd be counter trend trading to the overall bias of what prices are telling you. So it kind of bounces around, no clean second entries, new high, first entry long. And then, so it's like a new high, first entry long. You could say this is like a hidden second entry long, but I didn't really quite see it that way. Just saw it as like a break of this green down channel, test the low. Green down channel might have been played out. I found potentially this move up, so it's a new low. First entry short, pullback. Second entry short. Here it fails, but it's already too late. So if there was any suspicion of a failed second entry short, potentially bouncing off this trading range support, it feels a little weak. It's a decent signal bar, but it would have been better if it closed green. So here now you have a confirmed failed second entry short, but by then the trade's too late, so there really was no trade there. Pull back. I was thinking, is there a higher low here? But I couldn't justify this higher low because initially I had this red up channel break. I'm thinking it's going to test the high. This transparent red up channel doesn't exist yet, so I couldn't use this as a key entry point. But I saw this and I was thinking, is there a possible bounce point here? I was correct, but there was no way to justify entering a trade here. Prices then move up. So this red transparent up channel, I don't really trust yet because there is some confirmations up here, maybe some confirmations down here, but it doesn't look very clean. The only reason it exists, it looks like it was, besides this red push up, break, and then two pushes higher, looks like it could have been contained in this red transparent channel, but I don't trust it enough to color it in yet. So it's just kind of iffy. This is a new high. It's a first entry long. Technically, you have a second entry long here. It's a bad signal bar though, so you have to wait. It looks like it's one touch. Maybe you have a second touch, third touch, but it's just some kind of support being paid here. So it's a break of this red transparent up channel. Looks like it's one attempt up. It's also a new low here. It's a first entry short. But right here, it looked like it was a break of this red, transparent channel. It looks like it's one attempt up, pull back. It might test the highs here. What I did like is there is a potential triple test. So try to push down once, it failed. Try to push down a second time, and then try to push down a third time. So I also saw it as a visual first entry long, pullback, potential second entry long. The only way I thought would have been a better setup is if this closed at the high, but it kind of closed right where this guy opened. So it's kind of not inside bar, but it didn't decisively push up. So I thought it was an aggressive trade because besides bouncing off the bottom of this trading range support and a potential triple test, it looks like it's making a second leg up. So I really wanted to see what the next leg would be because it also closes right at the EMA. So it's, if it closed a lot higher, it'd be more decisive, but I thought it was more of an aggressive trade. And of course, you don't know that this is going to happen, but it would have worked out. But unfortunately for me, I just wasn't sure at the time. And then it comes back down, it touches this. So it's like one touch, two touch, three touch, four touch. This actually sets up for my first trade. Now I'm going to tell you what I was thinking at the time and why, in hindsight, this is just plain wrong. So it's a break of this up channel, one attempt up, pull back, second attempt up, pull back. I'm thinking I'm in a trading range right now. I don't really have a first entry even developed. This is technically an inside bar, but I saw this and I said, wow, it's looks like it's bouncing here. It's going to push back up to the top. And that's pretty much the only justification I could have. So I entered foolishly right at the top because I was thinking I'm going to get in early, save myself a little risk. What I should have done is my entry should have been above both of these guys by one tick. If that happened, then my order wouldn't have gotten filled and I wouldn't have taken this loss. But as you can see, I entered right at the double top because I was thinking I'm going to be clever. I'm going to jump start, save a little bit of risk by getting in a little early. But that was a wrong thing to do because I didn't really have a clear break above this guy. Technically, this is inside to this. So as you can see, I entered, flushes down, my stop is below this guy. So I take a loss right here, and it looks like it's a fail breakout. So that definitely, is humbling, and it definitely, I know it affected me and triggered me because you're going to see in about, if they say about 4 minutes, I take another trade. So definitely I was feeling frustrated. This is not a good reason to enter, and even if I wanted to enter, I should have had it one tick above here. Pushes out, looks like a failed breakout. Now prices look like they're going back in. So I'm thinking, okay, cool. Technically, it's kind of like a visual, but not clean, first entry long, pullback, maybe a second entry long. And I thought, okay, clearly this is a higher low. Coming from a failed breakout, pushing back into this trading range. Overall bias looks like it's moving back up. So I decided I'm going to do exactly what I just did here. It looks like a triple test. As soon as it breaks above, I'm entering. It breaks above, I enter, it pulls back. So again, first of all, this isn't really a clean first entry. It's just like you could literally say maybe this is the first entry long, but this is a failed breakout. I thought, okay, higher low here. Clearly it's a higher low. Break of this purple up channel, kind of drifted. Break of this purple up channel is going to test the high. It's going to move back to the high side. I waited for the break above, entered. If I only went for 1 point, this would have been profitable, but I was going for 2 points. I'm sitting through this. It pushes back. It actually forms a lower high. So what happened is I'm entering. I'm hoping if I went for 1 point, I would have gotten out, but I'm going for 2. It oscillates. It pushes down. My stop's below here. Now, technically, I was thinking, well, to give this room to breathe, if I had strong conviction, I'd put my stop below here. But from here all the way down to here is about 6 points. And I was not willing to risk 6 points to try to make 2. And I thought, this candle here is only 9 ticks. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But if I'm right, this should continue moving upwards. That's my thought at the time. It looks like it was going to do it because it already made the 1 point scalp, but I'm waiting for 2. Flushes down. Now I'm a little concerned because it's getting close to my stop out point, and then it flushes down, stops me out. Then it generates a lower high. So there's actually new low here. First entry short, pull back. Second entry short, push up. Now this lower high, I noticed, and I said, okay, this is a lower high. It's confirmed by this candle. And now it's decisively pushing through the EMA. I also want to note after the second loss, which was frustrating, and I looked at it and I thought, well, this really wasn't a safe trade. I kind of switched over and thought, okay, I can't take any more live trades because I am not in tune with the market. Especially after 4 minutes, I jumped on a second trade, which was not really the best thing to do because I know I was triggered. And taking a third trade, and if it lost, I know I would definitely go on tilt. So it's more like, okay, I'm not in tune with the market. Just sit back, don't do anything today or for the rest of the day. So as I said, there's a lower high. It's break of this purple up channel. It has tested one has tested the high, made it 1 up. Now it's pushing back and making a second attempt, but it's a lower high. So I thought, okay, there's a lower high here. It is confirming a second entry short, push up, pull back. It's a decent signal bar. My concern is it might bounce off this trading range support. So if I were to enter, I'd wait for this candle to close to confirm the lower high, and it closed below, and I likely would have entered 1 tick below here if I was still trading. Or if I was conservative, I definitely don't want to enter between the lows of here and the trading range low because it could indicate prices are coming back in. So I probably would have entered 1 tick below here, and as you can see, it would have worked out. Then prices continue moving, but I definitely would have entered after this bar. I want to confirm, so I'd confirm with this bar, and after this closes, then I would have entered right here. Then prices continue moving. I drew this yellow trend line support coming down, and actually I had the trading range a little tighter. I thought it was something like this. There's a first entry short. You have a first entry short. Technically, you have a second entry short right here. So it looks like it's, excuse me, prices are clearly moving down. It's 2 legs, excuse me, apologize, just had a nice coughing fit. So it's moving down this yellow down channel, and it's also moving up this red up channel. There's a break of this red up channel, tests and made a new high. You're coming down from down here, say new low, first entry short pullback, second entry short. The second entry short's confirmed. This is kind of, actually, over here, this is kind of the second entry short here by the technical count, but it looked like it was 1 leg pullback, potential second leg. So it's actually visual first entry pullback. I thought this is actually where the second entry would be. It's a green signal bar, so I wasn't that happy with it. I mean, I wasn't even going to take the trade because I'd already taken the losses, but I was thinking, okay, there might have been a potential 1 point scalp here because the first break of this yellow down channel, this breakout is likely going to fail the first time. There might be at least a 1 point move. I did not expect this big push down, and I thought this was probably a little aggressive. And then prices continue moving down. It's following inside this yellow down channel pretty nicely, aside from this failed breakout, because I was playing with other channels, trying to make sure if there was no breakout, something like this fit. So I had this red one going on at the same time, at the time, something like this. You also have in ULO, it's a first entry short, pull back. Technically, I have a second entry short here, but I was concerned about a potential support area here. But you could argue it's bouncing off this yellow down channel resistance. So I had these two channels going at the same time at the time. It starts pushing out, and I decided like this red channel doesn't fit super well. I mean, it is one touch, two touch, three touch, but prices are just kind of oscillating in the middle of it. And I like this yellow down channel a little bit better, even though it had an early break here. Prices kind of align and touch and reject off the resistance a little bit better. Keeps going down. So at this point, I kind of delete this red one. I'm kind of trading off this yellow one. This yellow one, it only has one touch, two touch, and there's a breakout here. So I'm watching this carefully, seeing if there's going to be another move back in. So it's actually a first entry short, but it kept going. Now it's a second entry short. This is a second entry short. It feels risky to short because you're going to push into the low of day and a potential support area. When I saw this, and it kept drifting downwards, that's when I extended this downwards about right here. So there's no real touch confirmations here, but I'm thinking maybe it's actually riding along the support side of this yellow down channel. Breaks through, another fail breakout, creates a new low. It's a first entry short, pull back, break of this green up channel has tested the high. There is a potential second entry short here, I believe, because it has an EMA rejection. So this is a trade I think if I was still trading, I would have taken because it's a new low, visual and clean first entry short, and another clean confirm second entry short. So I might have taken it here. It doesn't even go 1 point, and then this likely would have stopped me out. So if I was still trading, I think I would have taken this trade and likely would have gotten stopped out. The thing that would have kind of looking at in hindsight is this yellow down channel doesn't fit the best. There's a failed breakout, and it's always a little more cautious, or you have to be a little more cautious taking the first, second entry in the direction of the original bias after a breakout because it could create a second leg. So in order for you to, or in order for me to really trust the trade, I think I should have waited for a lower high. But if I did, I would have been saved because it never came about. It pushed above the EMA. But if I was still trading, I'm pretty sure I would have taken this trade and likely taken a loss. The prices continue moving, bounces. Let's normalize this guy. It's pushing down through again, so I extend this to try to keep this breakout from happening. So now it looks like it's kind of a midline two-tier channel, although I'm not the happiest with how it's fitting because of this early break. It moves down this red down channel. It's the first entry long. Technically, I have a second entry long here, but it's far away from the first entry long, and it just doesn't look quite right. It does look like it's another breakout of this yellow down channel. I saw this as a new low, first entry short, second entry short. I just marked it. I didn't really mark it as a trade because it is the wrong color. And as I just mentioned, when there was a failed breakout, you have to be cautious on taking a second entry in the same direction of the original bias when there was a breakout, because that's what would have happened here. So I was a little more cautious seeing this. It follows through. In this case, if you're going for 1 point, you probably would have gotten it, maybe even two, but then it reverses back up. It gets choppy, it's a new high, say first entry long. And it pushes up to the high side. And I'm not really sure it's going to come back and test this yellow down channel now because there's already a breakout here and it drifted out here for quite a while. Now it's moving up this red up channel. I actually had it drawn a little tighter initially. I had something like this, something to this effect. It was a break and tested the high. It kept going. So then I turned it. I thought it might actually be in this big red channel. Kind of drifts sideways. And here it kind of sets up another possible trade, or what I thought was a possible trade. It's technically a new high. It's a first entry long here, pullback, second entry long here. I thought this is actually a decent setup because it ticked below. Looks like there's still EMA support. I'm expecting a test of this high. Looks like it's one leg pullback, second leg, enough for at least a 1 point scalp. And it looked like it would have gotten it. The prices continue moving up. Comes back down. Unfortunately, there's really no setup here. It's a nice bounce off the EMA again. It's also the wrong color. Prices move up what I thought is this orange up channel. No clean setups. New high, first entry long, pull back. Technically, I have a second entry long way down here, but it's below the EMA now, so the EMA isn't supporting it. So it makes me a little cautious. I need to see a higher low at this point to believe prices are going to resume the bullish push up. Never shows up though. However, I do see this as a localized first entry long pullback, second entry long pullback. Right here, I thought there was a lower high. Also saw this as a new low, first entry short, pullback, second entry short. I thought, okay, well, second entry short, I want to confirm second entry short. So this makes actually a double bottom right here. And I actually thought, okay, if it breaks below here, it is a true first entry, second entry short. I had this drawn as a trend line. It didn't really turn to a channel just yet. But I thought, okay, now this is clearly a lower high. If it breaks below here, I have a confirmed lower high, the failed first entry long, second entry long failure, and then lower high, new low, first entry short, second entry short. So I'm watching this carefully. This is also a pretty small signal bar. And if I were to take a trade, I'd actually put it above this guy as my stop. So it would have filled, taken the entry, and then likely gotten to 2 points. Prices then continue moving. So it bounces off this green downtrend resistance. And that's where I turned into a channel. Try to make this fit, small break here. So I kind of split the difference, kind of put it close to here. Didn't really count this as a break. Again, it has a nice rejection, so it's now 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch, 4 touch. I'm liking this green down channel. You technically have a new high, localized new high, first entry long pullback, second entry long. This is a good signal bar, but if you're playing within this channel, you should be extra cautious buying into a potential resistance and playing against, you'd be counter trend trading. Prices then moved out. It breaks out of the screen down channel and aggressively drops. So instead of extending this all the way down to try to capture all that, I just decided I'm going to draw a new channel. It looks like it's starting a new trend coming down. Unfortunately, there was no way to enter this. Break of this red, test the low. Looks like it's starting to reverse here. The first entry short comes back, double bottoms. Technically, I have a second entry short here, but here I'm not thinking of going short. And it's inside bar to this. Plus, if you were to go short, you're going to hit a potential resistance that has been tested twice and has not broken through. But then it finally does. Pops around, it starts to reverse, it's pushed above the EMA. I'm actually thinking prices are going to come back down because for a good while, the EMA is acting as some kind of gate that it was hard for this guy to break through. So now it actually breaks through and out. So it's moving up this orange up channel. You only have a first entry short here. And then I saw technically a first entry short, second entry short. But when I'm thinking second entry short here and it's confirmed here, the follow through on this candle isn't very convincing because it closed the high. So you do have a first entry short, second entry short confirmed. I'm not thinking of going short. In order for me to believe going short, I needed a lower high below the EMA. But I also saw a new high, first entry long pullback, second entry long. So when I saw second entry long, after it's confirmed here, so it's definitely too late to take this trade. It was just more of a hunch at the time. It's a break in this orange up channel, made one attempt up. I'm thinking, could it make a second attempt up? What stopped me from thinking this is a good trade was this is a red signal bar. If it closed green, then I thought definitely this is a possibly better trade. But if you're a little more aggressive, you probably could have taken it, would have worked. But actually, I'm going to consider an almost trade because it was a hunch at the time. The signal bar wasn't a good indication to get a trade ready because it's red. And even though you would have gotten probably 2 points out of it, it's after this follow through, it would have been too late to try to take this trade. So you would have to take the risk on this signal bar. It comes flushing back down. The first entry long, pull back. Technically, have a second entry long here. It's a bad signal bar. You would not have been thinking of going long yet. Plus, it's a break. It technically has tested low, made a second attempt. So it's a little confusing what's going on. It is double bottoming here. The bias so far now has been down, 2 legs up, and continuation down. So I'm not really thinking of going long. You have a doji, so it's just congested. It looks like it's almost a trading range setting up, but it continues downwards. It hits a new low. It's a first entry short, pull back. You have a second entry short. I actually thought this was a decent trade, a decent possible trade, because it's a break of the screen up channel, made one attempt up, pull back. Well, pull back on this. Let me zoom in. Break of the screen up channel, one attempt up, pull back, breaks below this guy, made a second attempt up on this, moves one tick or maybe 2 ticks above, then flushes down strong. From here down to here is 3.5 points. There's enough room for 1 to 2 point scalp. I also did connect this and this and this at the time, but I didn't connect it fast enough to treat it as a key entry point because I'm watching this candle. This candle hasn't closed yet. And when it finally closes, I thought there's a possible trade here. I would have entered one tick below. If this next candle breaks below, I would have dropped the order in. So it does open here, pushes up, and then it flushes down. So if I was still trading, I think I would like to have taken this trade. Whether I would have gotten filled or not, I don't know. Prices then continue moving. It's a new high. First entry long pullback, second entry long. Second entry long here. It's a good signal bar, but it's inside to this guy. So it doesn't leave me with that much confidence. Plus, overall bias is bearish. So it feels a little early to try to ride something back to the EMA. You'd have to have a higher low confirmation. And you don't get that. And it kind of keeps going. You do get a lower high here because it's a new high, first entry long pullback, second entry long failure, but it does make a new low. The only reason I marked it and as an almost trade is it's confirming this trend line coming down. I turned it into a channel, but I never colored it in because it doesn't confirm very well to the low side. But the high side, it looks like it is a trend line coming down. Fourth touch rejection. EMA is holding prices down. Looks like there's momentum pushing down enough for at least a 1 point scalp, but just not enough to justify actually taking a trade because it already made a new low. So even though it's a lower high, this isn't a very strong lower high considering it already made a new low here. Prices then continue moving. I thought it was moving in this orange down channel. It's a break. There's like a first entry short. I'm thinking there's a potential second entry short here if based on the strength of 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch, 4 touch, there's a fifth touch here. I just did not like that it closed above the EMA. So it just left me cautious. As you can see, if you do follow the rules properly and you did want to take a riskier trade, you would put it 1 tick below this guy. And as you can see, you would never have gotten filled and would have pushed up. Now that is certainly one thing I have to work on because I always try to game the system and try to enter at the same low in order to save like 1 tick of risk. But sometimes I drop it in early. And if I was playing that, I likely would have gotten filled here because it never broke below and likely would have gotten stopped out. So it is something I know that I have to work on. Prices then continue moving up. Moves up on this yellow up channel, no clean second entries. It looks like it's starting to range. It's a new high here. I was thinking there is a potential second entry long here because localized new high. First entry long pullback, second entry long. It's confirmed here, but it's an almost trade because I needed this guy to close to confirm the second entry long. But when it does close and confirm the second entry long, I'm already near the highs of this range. So this range is really tight. I'm expecting a test of this yellow up channel, but it already tested it technically here. So this could be the second attempt. Is it going to do a third attempt? It feels like it won't, especially since I'm considering I'm in the range now. In this case, it does. It has a failed breakout, so I'm thinking a price is going to move back in. It kind of slowly creeps back in. It is a new high here, first entry long pullback. I saw this and I saw, is there a second entry long here? Yes, after this confirms, except it's again near the highs. It's a failed breakout, so I'm thinking prices are going to come back in. The only thing going forward is a bounce off the EMA and a really strong close, but that's just not good enough. So it's just something I noticed, but not worth marking as a trade. Prices again just kind of chop sideways. Kind of, there we go. Actually, I would do this, bring this down, lighten this up. I was just chopping this trading range, new low. I saw this, it's technically the first entry short, but I saw it as a visual first entry short, pullback, second entry short, but there's no clean setup here. It starts flushing down. New low here, it's a first entry short, and that's all you really have. It hits the sideways consolidation, no clean second entries. Technically, you have a new low here, it's a first entry short, but you're playing range rules. So even if there's a second entry short, for example, like this one shows up, the signal bar would not have told you or given you any hint to get a trade ready to go short because it looks like it's green. It is bearish. You're in a trading range. There's just barely enough room to scalp out for 1 point down here. So it feels dicey. You don't know it's going to push down like this. Fail breakout. It starts reversing back up. Technically, you have a new low here. And it might be moving in this channel right here. Break, test the high. Technically, you have a new low. You do have just barely break first entry short, and you could argue a second entry short here. However, it looks more like just one big leg. So even though there's a small break, I consider this just one leg. Now here's decisive first entry short, except it didn't break below here. So I can't count that either. So it looks like more just like a first entry short right here off a doji. And of course, you don't know this candle is going to show up. So nothing here, no trade. Pushes down, new high, it's a first entry long pullback. Technically have a second entry long here. Again, terrible signal bar. It's just, you wouldn't, seeing this, you're not thinking of going long. Then you see this follow through, it engulfs this guy, but the close feels very neutral. So definitely you're not thinking of going long as well. It just gets noisy, pushes down, and now we're entering the last 10 minutes of the day. So any kind of second entry setups that you see in here is definitely not something you want to take just because, as you can see, this is about 5 minutes trading. And you can see how many 2000 tick bars are in here. So it's just very, very noisy, very, very choppy. And it kind of pushes into the close. I think this is a reaction to either the Amazon earnings or this might have been a reaction to the, I think, Apple earnings. But I don't trade the after hours like that, so it didn't really matter. It's just kind of some weird spikes that you notice and try to explain why they certainly would have happened or not have happened. So this is kind of how I saw the charts today. It's a little bit longer video, a little bit more ranting. Definitely shouldn't have taken these two trades. Kind of jumped the gun on them, entered early, and as a result got punished. So definitely frustrating, but more just humbling because I think it was a carryover from not being able to trade yesterday that I felt anxious and ready to do something. So I would categorize these two trades as being bad and more like I invented them to justify taking a trade. And that's never a good reason. So hopefully that was helpful.